Ding dong. I mean, ring, ring. Hello? Who is this? Is this Kaido? Because if it's Kaido, I'm gonna roast him again. Welcome everyone to Chimp's One Piece Arcs tier list. It's me, Kiwi In Japan, making a guest appearance one more time. The rankings will be the following. First, top place, the best, aka the best of the One Piece arcs. Next tier, great. It's a great arc, but it had something kept from being the best. Good, the good tier. These are the arcs that are good, nothing's wrong with them, but they did not leave much of an impact to Chimp to be ranked even higher. Meh is the next tier, meh. The meh arcs are bland and boring, but they're slightly above the garbage tier. Ooh, spoilers. Garbage tier. Garbage arcs are just the worst of the worst, okay? Abominations that Order should never have created. And at the very bottom, we've got Wano. The Wano arc. Because Wano will always be below garbage. Wano is an entire junkyard. Okay, good. We hope you enjoy these rankings. I will enjoy them too. I want to see this video. I mean, this video is out! Let's see it now! I pre-recorded this.
Yeah! Welcome to Mystic T Chimps One Piece Arc Tier Ranking List. We are going to be ranking all the One Piece arcs from the best, the greatest, all the way to garbage and Wano, the entire junkyard. Before we start this ranking list, let's get rid of Wano. Wano is a cesspool of garbage. It's an abomination that should have never been created. It's a plague upon humanity. So right away, Wano is going to garbage list. Joke. Wano is going below garbage because Wano is the entire junkyard. It's trash. If you're a new person watching this video, you're probably thinking, this guy is insane. Wano is amazing. Why do you hate Wano so much? What's wrong with you? Are you going to explain your hatred towards Wano? Nope. I have like 100 videos about Wano. I'm not gonna talk about Wano again in this video. So Wano goes into the Wano tier that's below garbage. Now that the Wano arc has been resolved, let's start talking about all the other arcs in One Piece. Let's move from Romance Town all the way to Wano. Okay, we already talked about Wano, so from Romance Town all the way to Reverie. And the first arc in One Piece is going to be good. It's nothing special and it's not bad. Romance Town is an okay arc. The main story is not all that interesting, but where it gets interesting is the flashbacks. We see Luffy's flashback where Luffy eats Gomu Gomu no Mi. I'm sorry. He eats the godly, amazing godly special devil fruit ability. I forgot. So yeah, Luffy eats the god devil fruit and becomes a god later. Okay, I need to focus on this arc and not rant about Wano. So yeah, Luffy meets Shanks. Later on, he creates the Straw Hat Pirates because he idolizes Shanks. And he also eats the Gomu Gomu no Mi. And then some bandit tries to kidnap Luffy because of his weird abilities. He wants to sell Luffy because Luffy has a rubber body. And then Shanks goes to rescue Luffy. And the arc is pretty brutal because Lucky Roo executes a guy. Like, shoots the guy's brains out like it's nothing. Then a giant monster eats the guy who kidnapped Luffy, and then it eats Shanks' arm. Which is something I don't understand because Shanks is apparently the strongest Yonko out of all of them, stronger than the strongest creature alive, because he one-shotted an awakened devil fruit user like he was nothing. but a giant fish eats Shanks's arm. So the giant fish is stronger than Shanks. Also, Blackbeard is the weakest Yonko except for Bucky, because Bucky is now a Yonko. But Blackbeard, when it came to Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Shanks, he was the weakest. Yet somehow Blackbeard was able to injure Shanks, the strongest, actual strongest creature alive. Okay, I'm getting carried away. You see how Wano arc ruined the rest of One Piece for me. I can't even focus on the old arcs because everything goes back to Wano or Egghead. Because Wano and Egghead ruined pretty much everything. Now let's get to Zoro's flashback because Zoro also has a flashback. So Zoro's friend falls down the stairs and dies. Let me repeat that. Zoro's friend dies by falling down the stairs. But currently, in One Piece, a Yonko can take its massive kanabo, smash you into a bloody pulp, stab you with a katana, and you can survive. But in old One Piece, you can die by falling down the stairs, which makes no sense at all. Anyways, old One Piece was pretty brutal. Because Lucky Roo executed the guy, shot the guy's brains out. Shanks lost his arm. The guy who kidnapped Luffy died. Zoro's friend died. And Zoro, before the story of One Piece, actually murdered a guy. Zoro killed a Baroque's Works agent. It was either number 6 or number 7. I don't remember. I don't write this down, it's all from memory. I just speak to a microphone, okay? I don't have a script on me. But yeah, Zoro, before the story, killed a guy. But now, while fighting enemies, he hasn't killed anyone, which also doesn't make any sense. So that was the backstory. It was good. The main story is it's average. The main story, like the villain is very weak, easily forgettable villain. Like it's the most forgettable villain in all of One Piece. The other characters we meet are Alvida, Kobe, Helmeppo. And Helmeppo is a little douchebag. Later on, of course, he becomes friends with Kobe. But right now, in this arc, he held Kobe hostage, tried to kill Kobe. But later on, he becomes Cyclops from X-Men. He has that weird visor on. Maybe he has the laser vision devil fruit. Okay, let's move on to the next arc. We can't continue talking about one arc for such a long time, or I'll be here for like 20 hours. So the next arc is Orange Town. Orange Town is meh. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just because it's very forgettable. I barely remember anything about this arc. So Orange Town arc was the place where we met Bucky, and Bucky was the second Devil Fruit user introduced to the story after Luffy. Devil Fruits were very rare in the old One Piece. Bucky and Luffy were literally the only two Devil Fruit users up until Loguetown arc. Of course, nowadays Devil Fruits are handed out like candy to literally anyone, and the powers are not even unique. Like food, any food can become Devil Fruit. You can, look at your desk and, oh, it's a pencil Devil Fruit. My fingers turn into pencils, I can write, that's the ability. Oda has no originality anymore, but Buggy's ability was pretty original. I can't say I have seen anything like this before, where you cut a character down and their body parts start floating in the air. The only things I remember about this arc is Buggy's crew fighting against Luffy and Zoro, and then Nami kicks Buggy in the balls. And that's how Buggy loses. And then I remember that Nami, Zoro, and Luffy, they were on a tiny boat because they didn't have Going Merry yet. They are going to get Going Merry at the next arc. So let's talk about Syrup Village. Syrup Village is, I'm gonna say it's good. It's good. It's not great. It's not the best. It's just good. The villain, I would say, is the second best villain in East Blue. Captain Kuro is the second best villain in East Blue. And we are going to get to the best villain of East Blue soon. He has a ability that he can move incredibly fast. And it's not the devil fruit ability. He can just move so fast that he disappears. He turns invisible. And Kuro was the first villain Luffy actually struggled against. Luffy took damage, okay? Luffy looked tired. The guy was pretty strong for an East Blue villain. Okay, and this is the arc where we met Usopp for the first time. And Usopp got his little sad backstory just like every other Straw Hat. And Usopp gave Luffy the going merry. Luffy finally got a nice ship, okay? They didn't have to use a shitty boat anymore. Now the next arc is Baratie. And I don't like Sanji anymore. I used to like Sanji, but he's a furry, he's a degenerate, he loves animals, he loves children. Sanji is like your average Discord moderator. But this arc is great! This is the first East Blue arc I'm gonna rank great. And that's not because of Sanji. And it's not because of Don Krieg, because Don Krieg is the second most forgettable villain in East Blue after Axe and Morgan. All the guy has is a little flaming shield. That's it. Okay, so I don't like Sanji. I don't like Don Krieg as a villain. Why is this arc great? Mihawk! It's because of Mihawk. Mihawk is my all-time favorite character in One Piece. His introduction to the story was badass. He cut up a giant ship in half like it was nothing. And the fight against Zoro, it was pure greatness, okay? He took out a little tiny knife and destroyed Zoro, who was holding three swords. I also like the promise that Zoro gave of never losing again after losing to Mihawk, even though he lost later on to Kuma. But if we don't count that, then every one versus one battle, Zoro has won. So Zoro kind of kept his promise. And Mihawk could have easily killed Zoro. He decided not to because he saw potential in Zoro. And that's why this is a great arc. Just because of Mihawk and Zoro. Now the next arc is Arlong Park. And Arlong Park is very boring. It's lame. It sucks. Worst arc. No, I'm kidding. It's the best. It goes into the best. It's the best arc in East Blue. I mean, it has the best villain of East Blue, okay? Arlong was brutal. He made humans into his slaves. But he wasn't a villain because he didn't see humans as humans. He saw humanity as a pest because of the way humans treated fishmen. So therefore, Arlong didn't care if he killed a mother in front of her two children. He didn't give a shit. He was like, oh, you're human. I don't care. Die. Become my slave or die. And the fight with Luffy and Arlong is the best fight in East Blue. It's brutal, like Luffy. There was so much blood. By the way, has anyone else noticed that old One Piece has a lot of blood, but new One Piece barely has any? Was there some sort of censorship in Japan that you can't show blood anymore or something? So yeah, Arlong, the greatest villain of East Blue, and we got the Nami backstory. Saddest backstory of all the Straw Hats. Well, except for the ones that come after Nami. But right now, the backstory was pretty sad. And it was well done. I also want to say that the fight that Sanji had underwater against that, I want to say it's a manta ray fishman. I'm not sure. But the fight where the fishman was like zip-zapping around the ocean, and Sanji was trying to get air, but this guy kept pulling Sanji down. That was a good fight, like. I actually liked that fight. And back then, I actually liked Sanji. But now he loves anime. Anyways, let's move on to the next arc. This is the arc where Luffy gets captured and he gets almost beheaded by Buggy. So Buggy and Alvida return. Alvida is revealed to have a devil fruit. Alvida is the third character in the entire story that has been revealed to have a devil fruit ability. In 6 arcs, we only have 3 devil fruit users revealed. That's how rare the devil fruit abilities used to be like, not like right now, where literally everyone gets a devil fruit and devil fruits are handed out like candy. Oh, every arc now has 10 new devil fruits. So Buggy is about to execute Luffy, and then lightning strikes, and Luffy is saved. Like Luffy was literally about to be killed by Buggy. I have a few questions about this arc. First question: if Buggy would have killed Luffy, would Luffy have become Sun God right here, right now? We know that Luffy awakened the Sun God after being killed by Kaido. So if Buggy would have killed Luffy, Luffy would have become Sun God, and every other arc after this would have been 10 times shorter because Luffy would have easily defeated everyone. The second question I have is Bartholomew. In Dressrosa arc, there was a crazy Luffy and Straw Hats fanboy called Bartholomew, and he became a fanboy because he saw lightning save Luffy. So in this arc, I went back and I looked at all the background characters. I was like, is there a green haired guy in there somewhere? And nope, nowhere. So Oda never planned out Bartholomew. If Oda actually plans out his stories like everyone acts like he does, why wasn't there a single green haired character in the background? This arc also introduced the best marine, aka Smoker, the most badass marine out of all of them except for Garp. Garp is slightly higher. And it also introduced Tashigi. And Tashigi looks exactly like Zoro's childhood friend. And even Zoro was like, huh? Who are you? Why do you look like her? And you know what happened with that? Nothing! It was never mentioned again. Everyone theorized that maybe Tashigi is Zoro's childhood friend, that maybe Zoro's childhood friend never died. But we will never know what's up with that, why they look so alike, because Oda doesn't care. He doesn't care to explain. Oh yeah, and Luffy's father, Dragon, was introduced for the first time, and Dragon saved Luffy. But after this arc, he never saved Luffy again, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now we are at Reverse Mountain arc, and this is another arc. It's meh. It's not good, it's not bad, it's forgettable. This is the arc where we meet Laboon, a giant whale. And I'm not talking about your mother, I'm talking about an actual giant whale. And we also meet a couple of Baroque Works agents. I think this was the first time we met them. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a long time since I last saw these manga chapters. We also met Crocus, a former crewmate of Cool T. Roger. And the entire arc purpose is we want to get up the water stream, but this whale is in our way. That's it. That's the entire story. And by the way, Laboon becomes important later on when we meet Brook, but right now, not important at all. I remember when I watched this anime, there was a filler character with Wolverine abilities, like he had the Wolverine claws. And Nami killed the guy. Nami pushed the guy into the ocean to die. Like filler Nami is pretty crazy. But anyways, I don't have a lot to say about this arc, so let's move on. Whiskey Peak arc. This is a short arc, but it's great. I love it. And it's only because Zoro literally takes out the entire town by himself. This is the first arc where new Paramecia Devil Fruit users are introduced after Alvida. Zoro fights against an entire town, like 100 people, and he defeats all of them. It's crazy. And then couple of Devil Fruit users show up who are Baroque Works agents. And one of them, Mr. 5, has the ability to turn his boogers into bombs. And the guy kills Mr. 9 and Miss Monday. Mr. 9 and Miss Monday are dead for like 10 years. And then it's revealed that, oh, actually, they survived. Because Oda has a habit of killing off characters and then revealing later on that, oh, they are actually alive. I mean, I can't spend too much time on these arcs because I have to get home. I have to finish this video. So let's move on. Little Garden arc, and this arc is going to be meh. And it's meh for a lot of reasons. First of all, the giants. These giants in current One Piece defeated the Kids crew, okay? They wiped out the Kids crew. They decimated their ship. And in Little Garden, Mr. Tree defeated the giants. Yes, Mr. Tree defeated the same giants that easily wiped out Killer's and Keith's entire crew. What the fuck? I mean, that's already the reason why I can't like this arc. I understand that I have to look at this arc as an individual arc and not think about the future. But a lot of things don't make any sense. This arc introduced dinosaurs, living, breeding dinosaurs, and then later on it's revealed that, oh, actually, there are ancient devil fruits that are based on ancient extinct animals, and many of these devil fruits can turn into dinosaurs that are ancient creatures, but they actually exist in One Piece. And then there was a little girl who was able to brainwash people by painting. And it wasn't even a devil fruit ability. Like, what's up with these weird ass abilities that normal, regular people have, and they are not devil fruits? Okay, now let's get.
Go! Get to the chopper!
We are now at Drum Island, and it's a good arc. It's not great, it's good. I like Chopper. Chopper is a cute little mascot for the One Piece, just like Pikachu is for Pokemon. I like Chopper's backstory. I like the scene. Okay, I like the island, the snow, everything. I hated the main villain. The main villain was absolutely unlikable. Usually, villains can be liked even if they are complete assholes, but this guy was like, he looked weird, he acted weird, he was just a weird character. And this was the first arc where another Devil Fruit user joined the Straw Hat crew. And also, I think this was also the first arc where Zone type Devil Fruits were first time introduced. Now we are at Alabasta, and it's going to be the best. The best. It's one of the best arcs in One Piece. Smoker returns. We meet Ace. We meet Crocodile, a guy who defeats Luffy like 2 times. Every single Straw Hat pirate has a fight against a strong enemy. I think this was the first arc where literally everyone had a fair fight. The side characters were also good. Like, I have no complaints about this arc. Well, except for the fact that he was, Crocodile was looking for Pluton, and Nico Robin knew about it the entire time. But that happens in Wano. That didn't happen in Alabasta. Luffy actually used his brain. Luffy covered his body in blood and used the blood to punch Crocodile because at the time, for some reason, no one knew about hockey. But now everyone knows about hockey. Like everyone and their mother knows about hockey, except for pre-time skip One Piece where no one knew about hockey. Yeah, One Piece has a lot of plot holes. This was also the first arc when I realized that no one actually can die in One Piece because Bell died in a nuclear explosion, and then it was revealed that, oh, he's fine. I was like, what? What do you mean he's fine? He was blown up in a nuclear explosion. So, Miss Doublefinger versus Nami, good fight, brutal fight, a lot of blood. Same with Taz Bones against Zoro. I mean, a lot of these old One Piece fights were brutal. I have no idea what happened with One Piece. Like, we barely see any blood these days. And then, of course, the sacrifice at the end where Bentham, Mr. Q, sacrificed himself to save the Straw Hats. I don't have a lot more to say. It's a great arc. No, not great. It's the best. It's the best. So let's move on to the next one. Good, great. I'm gonna go with good because it's very short. Luffy fights against Bellamy, a devil fruit user with strings for his body. He can turn his body into strings. He can move incredibly fast, and Luffy defeats the guy in one punch. And the guy was like mocking Luffy, saying that you're weak, you're pathetic, you are never going to be the Pirate King. And Luffy teaches him a lesson, okay? And we also met Blackbeard, who right now is not important, but he will be an important character later on. So, oh, wait. The warlords met. We saw Doflamingo and Kuma for the first time. And Mihawk returned. I think this was also the first arc where we met the Kurosei. Yeah, so a lot of things actually happened. The Fleet Admiral was shown for the first time. I'm pretty sure that this was the first time we saw Sengoku. Anyways, it's a good arc. Okay, let's move on to Skypiea now. And Skypiea is the best. What's good about Skypiea? Well, I like the backstory of Nolan. I also like the villain, one of the best villains in One Piece. Enel is literally Eminem if Eminem was in One Piece. The guy has lightning abilities. Lightning abilities are always cool. Now let's talk about the things I didn't like. Enel's minions are very forgettable, very weak. Like Nico Robin fought against one of these guys, easily defeated them, and that was the last Nico Robin fight until Wano, which is kind of ridiculous. And no, I'm not counting the Fishman Island fight. This is also the arc where Sun God was first introduced. Later on, of course, Sun God was actually Luffy the entire time. It was Luffy's ability, Gomu Gomu no Mi, and Joy Boy was the Sun God. But in Skypiea, if you go back, the Sun God was just a giant snake. The people worshipped a giant snake and performed human sacrifices towards a giant snake. Look, the thing is that there are a lot of plot holes in One Piece right now. Like literally every arc I talk about. Oh yeah, Wano and Ege turned that into a plot hole. That's pretty much the current One Piece. Enel and Enel's followers, they used abilities called mantra. They were able to foresee the future a little bit. They were able to predict moves. And that was revealed later on to be observation hockey. So this was the first arc that observation hockey was first mentioned. Also, at the time, Enel was the strongest character in One Piece, well, except for Mihawk. Enel was the strongest villain the Straw Hats have faced. No other villain came close to Enel's power. Oda even stated that Enel is on the same level as an admiral. The only reason Luffy was able to defeat Enel was because of his rubber abilities. If Luffy was never made out of rubber, he was just this weird god that is able to shapeshift its body into any way he wants. Then how was Enel not able to injure Luffy? I guess that's another plot hole that Oda created. But let's move on to Long Ring, Long Land. And that's going to be garbage. Absolute garbage arc. Worthless. I'm not even gonna talk about White's garbage. Everyone knows White's garbage. It was a waste of time. The only redeeming thing about Long Ring, Long Land is the fact that we met Kusan for the first time. Okay, we met Aokiji. This is the first time we ever met an admiral and we saw the power of a true admiral. The guy took out all the Straw Hats easily. I'm not gonna talk about Foxy. Fuck Foxy. And Luffy, well, Luffy was so incredibly stupid in this arc. Like, Foxy was wearing masks of his friends. They were clearly masks. Anyone can see they are masks. And Luffy is like, oh, that's not a mask. That's my friend. That's, I don't know, Zoro or Sanji or Nami. Like, Luffy, bro, how are you this stupid? Also, there was a filler arc called Key 8 Marines, and that arc was way better than Long Ring, Long Land. It was entertaining, it was fun. I don't understand why that arc wasn't canon, but this shit was. Okay, now let's talk about Water 7. The best. My favorite arc in One Piece. That and Enies Lobby. Those two are my favorite arcs in all of One Piece. When it comes to Water 7, I like the atmosphere. I like the island is the most beautiful island in all of One Piece. At least that's what I think. We met Frankie, we met CP9 for the first time, and Spandam and all these characters. Frankie had his backstory. Frankie's backstory was beautiful. I loved it. And Frankie isn't even my favorite Straw Hat. And the beginning of this arc, Usopp and Luffy having a fight, almost killing each other because of Going Merry, because Going Merry is breaking down. Usopp wants to, work on Going Merry. He wants the ship to get better. He wants to fix the ship. And Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats are like, bro, this ship is broken. You can't fix this ship. And Usopp goes crazy, like, he actually tries to kill Luffy. And that was a well done fight scene. And then the betrayal of Nico Robin. Like, Nico Robin betrays the Straw Hats. The characters, everyday guys, they are actually CP9 agents. A random barman, ship rights, the assistant for Iceberg, Frankie's brother. They're all secret agents. So much shit happened in this arc. It was crazy. And then we get to Enies Lobby. Enies Lobby, my all-time favorite arc of all time. Am I gonna rank it the best? Nope. I'm gonna rank it great. And here's why. Every Straw Hat got a good fight in that arc. I think that Enies Lobby is the one arc, the only arc in all of One Piece where every Straw Hat got treated well. All of them had power-ups. All of them had great, amazing fights. Some of the best fights to this day. So why is it not the best? Well, it's because of one thing. Bullshit power-ups. Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, Nami, they all got nonsense power-ups out of nowhere and were able to defeat CP9 agents. And by the way, in Water 7, they were not able to defeat them. In Water 7, Rob Lucci defeated Zoro and Luffy like they were nothing. Oh, and I forgot of one thing. The fights on the train, the train going to Enies Lobby from Water 7, I also love that. Frankie fighting a CP9 agent. By the way, Nero, what happened with Nero? Does anyone even remember that CP9 agent? The Frankie just shot the guy into the ocean and the guy is probably like dead. But it's One Piece, so he's probably not actually dead. Look, if it was up to me, if if I wasn't so unbiased, I would rank it the best. So Water 7 is the best, Enies Lobby is great. And I can't rank it the best because of the bullshit power-ups that the Straw Hats got. Because let's be honest, the Straw Hats got these power-ups literally out of nowhere. There was no build-up, there was no training. They just got new power-ups and they defeated the CP9 agents that they had no chance against. Okay, so after these two arcs, there was the Post-Enies Lobby arc. And I'm gonna have to rank it good. The only reason why I rank it good is because we had that awesome Ace versus Blackbeard fight. But the reason why it's just good is because of the ship. The Straw Hats started crying because Going Merry was destroyed. because they burned Going Merry because the ship was dying anyway. And they had a mental breakdown over a ship. It was a ship. Like, this is the only time in One Piece characters cry over a ship. It doesn't make any sense. So many ships have been destroyed, and this is literally the only time. The only thing that saves this short arc is the Blackbeard and Ace fight. That's it. Now let's move on to Thriller Park, where we meet Brook. And Brook is my favorite Straw Hat out of all of them. So this is a good arc. Okay, it's a great. It's a great. I'm gonna rank it great. I know a lot of people don't like Thriller Park, but I have no problems against it. I know the main villain is not likable. He's boring. He gets one-shotted by Luffy. But come on, the Oars fight where all the Straw Hats get together to fight against Oars. That was badass. And the Nightmare Luffy, where Luffy absorbed all the shadows to fight against Oars. That was well done. I also liked the zombies, the creatures, the atmosphere was good. And after the arc ended, like, what were these giant, massive creatures? You know what? Back then I cared, but One Piece is so shit now that I don't even care about these creatures anymore. Yeah, I'm remembering all these old arcs when I liked One Piece. And you know what? I got a bit carried away because I forgot how shitty One Piece has actually gotten. Next arc. This is another great arc. Another great arc. First of all, we meet Rayleigh, okay? We meet the world nobles. Luffy punches a world noble. Luffy brings the marines to the island. An admiral shows up. Kuma shows up. Kuma wipes out the entire Straw Hat crew. And if that's not all, we meet the 11 supernovas. They all have badass introductions to the story. This arc is just pure greatness. It's great, okay? It's a great. Wait, did I say great? I meant it's the best. It's the best. Oh, and we also met an awakened Soul type Devil Fruit for the first time in this arc. So, yeah. Okay, the next arc. So now we are at Amazon Lily. It's a mech arc. Boa Hancock, boring villain. Nothing happened. Oh, Luffy was on an island with a bunch of women, and the entire point of this arc is that Luffy found out that Ace was captured by Blackbeard, and Blackbeard brought Ace to the world government, to the Marines, and then Luffy has to save Ace. Hancock fell in love with Luffy because Luffy was the only man that was able to reject her. Luffy saw her naked body and he didn't care about it. So Oda made Luffy seem like an asexual character. But way back in Alabasta, when Luffy saw Nami naked, he was drooling with the rest of the Straw Hats. So this is another moment of Oda being inconsistent. And by the way, how can you be so inconsistent when it comes to your main character? Impel Down, another great arc. We met Jimbe, Ivankov. We met all characters like Crocodile, Buggy, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, Taz Bones. And all these characters worked together with Luffy to escape Impel Down. This was the first arc where we saw Blackbeard facing off against Luffy. And Luffy punched Blackbeard pretty hard and almost defeated the guy. And this was supposed to be a future Yonko, which doesn't make much sense. And Magellan, like, he's one of the strongest characters in One Piece. Don't sleep on Magellan. I don't understand why every time there's a ranking list made, Magellan is never top 20. Have we forgotten that Magellan not only took out Luffy, he took out the entire Blackbeard crew? We also met the awakened Sound type Devil Fruits. Oh, there were like a bunch of awakened Sound type Devil Fruit users, but they were incredibly weak. Pre-timeskip Luffy defeated the Minotaur. I don't understand how the awakened Soon-type devil fruits currently have these weird black flames around their bodies, but the ones in Impel Down are like brainless monsters with snot coming out of their nose. So yeah, Magellan, great. He wasn't even a villain. He was the good guy in this arc. Luffy was the villain. Luffy literally escaped with a bunch of prisoners. He allowed a bunch of prisoners to become free. Magellan was pretty much the good guy in this story. He was just trying to keep the world safe from characters like Crocodile. Marineford, aka the Massive War. Another amazing arc. Okay, the best. It's gonna be the best. What do I even have to say? Like, come on. A massive war. A Yonko shows up. All the admirals show up. First time we see all the three admirals together. First time we see all the seven warlords together. First time a Yonko's fleet, entire fleet shows up and declares war against the Marines. First time characters actually die in the main story. So many characters return. Kusan, Smoker, Hina, Kobe, Helmepo, Doflamingo, Kuma, Mihawk. Like, it's crazy what was happening. Blackbeard showed up at the end, killed Whitebeard like a coward. We saw mythical devil fruits for the first time ever. The only thing I don't like about this arc is all these characters, all these strongest characters in One Piece showed up and none of them knew how to use Haki. But after time skip, literally all of them know how to use Haki, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Post-Marineford arc. This is the arc that takes place right after Marineford. Luffy is depressed because Ace died. Ace was killed by Akainu in the war, and Luffy feels like he's too weak to do anything. So all the Straw Hats train for 2 years, and Luffy trains under Silver's relic. Nothing wrong with the main story, but I didn't like the backstory of Luffy, Ace, and Sabo, a secret third brother that was never mentioned before. The moment I saw Sabo, I was like, are you fucking kidding me, Oda? Like, seriously? You killed off Ace, and now you're going to bring this guy, this Sabo, to replace Ace, okay? You are going to replace Ace. I already know that you're going to do it, because why else would you introduce a new brother right after the old brother dies? I knew that Sabo dying in the backstory was complete bullshit. Because why else would Oda bring a new brother all of a sudden? So I knew that, okay, Sabo is probably going to return. He's going to replace Ace as the new brother. What I didn't see was Sabo literally getting the same devil fruit as Ace. What the fuck, Oda? I messed up the recording of this arc, so I have to do it on phone. Return to Sabaody arc. So this is the arc where all the Straw Hats show off their new powers after 2 year time skip. They defeat pacifistas easily, you know, the same pacifistas that absolutely destroyed them before time skip. It was revealed that Kuma is not actually a villain in this arc. Kuma protected the Thousand Sunny ship for 2 years. I think that this arc is meh. The Straw Hats showed off their new outfits, they showed off their new looks, and most of them sucked. Especially Frankie. What the fuck did Oda do with Frankie? Why does Frankie have giant balls for his shoulders? Why are his wrists giant blocks? Oda absolutely butchered Frankie. Even the Jim Carrey, haircut is gone. And Frankie's new haircut is just, oh, I shaved all my hair. Oh, that's cool, I guess. But don't worry, it's all worth it because Frankie has nipple lights. I think Zoro, Sanji, Luffy look slightly better than they did before time skip. I wonder what happened with Zoro's eye. Oda still has not explained that, and it's been like, 15 years now? Almost? I swear, if it turns out that Zoro opening his eye makes him like 10 times stronger, I'm gonna lose my shit. Nico Robin looks worse. I liked her more before time skip. Nami is okay. Usopp looks better than before. Usopp is now buff. He used to be like Brook, a literal skeleton before time skip. Brook got rid of his ugly rags. He now looks like a rock star. But Chopper, man, let's be honest. No one likes that stupid helmet. Everyone wants the hat back. No one cares about that stupid baby blue helmet. Fishman Island, garbage. Garbage. Worst arc. Okay, up to Wano, worst arc in One Piece. Worst villains, most boring villains, most lame villains. Hody Jones was pathetic. I hate Hody Jones. Even Oda realized that these villains sucked. Why else did he turn them into elderly people? Because, well, he didn't want to bring them back ever. I also hated the joke with Sanji. And he almost played out and died because he saw a woman. Like, it's insane what they did to Sanji. Like, Sanji has been disrespected by Oda so much. It's a garbage arc. I don't want to talk about garbage for long, so let's move on. Punk Hazard. The thing with Punk Hazard is I'm gonna rank it as garbage. And it's only because of the ending. So, Punk Hazard ends with a lot of nameless Marines sacrificing their lives to save Smoker, Tashigi, and the children. And it was a nice scene. I actually almost teared up, okay? I ain't gonna lie. And then it was revealed that, oh no, they all survived. So Oda made a fake out death for like 200 characters. When I first saw that, I was like, what? I felt so angry and so betrayed. This was the first time I was like, yeah, no one's ever going to die in this story. Like, even characters, nameless characters that sacrifice themselves are going to be brought back with some bullshit memes. And then Virgo and Monet supposedly died in this arc. Why won't he bring back Monet and Virgo? Like, anyone can come back. I don't trust any deaths anymore. That's how bad One Piece has gotten. Also, Luffy used an attack called Komu Komu no Mi UFO. How does Luffy know what an UFO is? Was Luffy visited by aliens at one point in the story? Next arc, Dressrosa. It's a good arc. I would rank it great if it wasn't for one thing. It was way too long. Like, I almost dropped One Piece because of Dressrosa, because it was so damn long. Now let's talk about what I liked when it comes to Dressrosa, because I ranked it good, not meh and not garbage. I like the side characters, Cavendish and Bartholomew. Man, I wish these guys joined the Straw Hats. These guys were pretty funny. The Doflamingo family was one of the best villain group we have ever seen. Like, Senior Pink's backstory was actually insane. Oda, like, tried to humanize the villains. First time in a long time. I like the fact that Doflamingo was very loyal to his followers. Like, he treated them like a family. He wasn't like a villain who just punished his followers if they failed a mission. He actually saw his followers as a family. And Doflamingo's backstory was insane. Like, he killed his own father. The guy is crazy. We also got Trafalgar Law's backstory, which is probably the most messed up backstory. Well, except for Nico Robin. Except for Nico Robin, it's the most messed up backstory in all of One Piece. And this is also the arc where Sabo returns and gains Ace's abilities. And oh, Ace never died because Sabo is now Ace and Sabo has Ace's abilities. Oh, and Sabo never arrived at Marineford to save Ace because, well, Sabo, we met a new admiral, and this arc had tournament fights. And tournament fights are usually my favorite parts in an anime. Like tournament fights are always the best parts. In Yu Yu Hakusho as an example. So my favorite part was Bartholomew fighting against King Elisabello. Like Elisabello used an attack called King's Punch. He took out everyone in the Colosseum. And then it was revealed that Bartholomew is still in the arena because he has the ability of barrier no mi. He has the ability to create barriers. And then he took out the guy behind King's Punch, okay? So this was a good scene, one of my favorite scenes in One Piece. And I believe that Kaido jumping off the Sky Island was also turning Dressrosa. Or it was right after Dressrosa. That was the scene that brought me back to One Piece, where Kaido jumped off the Sky Island and it was revealed that he can't die. He's an immortal. He wants to die, but he has tried everything possible to kill himself, but it's just not possible. But there are a lot of things I didn't like when it comes to this arc. And the main thing is the birdcage. The birdcage attack felt like an eternity. Like it was literally like a year. A year of some attack slowly moving, destroying the entire island. And by the way, how is Doflamingo so powerful with his awakening that he is able to destroy an entire island, but all the other awakenings are just slight power-ups, like with Law and like with Keith. Oh man. 3 arcs left. So let's get to Soul. Soul is garbage. Abomination. Abomination. Oda will go to hell for creating Soul. If you're religious, then you know that Oda will go to hell. Like, why did he create the furry humanoids? I know that Becoms existed, okay? I know that Beppo was a thing, but I was always hoping that Becoms and Beppo have some weird devil fruit abilities. But now it turns out that no, there's actually an island filled with humanoid animals. What kind of animals? Oh, all the animals. Like, how is it possible that every single animal you can imagine is now humanoid? I already talked about this in my hour-long video when I was tearing One Piece apart, but did a bunch of pirates in the past arrive in zoo and have their way with all the animals? Is that why how they became humanoid? Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And this is the arc that turned Sanji into a, well, he loves animals. And I'm not saying loves in a cool kind of way, I'm saying he loves animals. Next arc, the Whole Cake Island arc. Oh, wait, let's go back to Soul. And the villain of Soul was lame. Oh, Jack? Like, Jack got defeated by a stray dog. Like a literal stray dog from down the street defeated Jack. Pathetic. Okay, next arc. Whole Cake Island. Oh, wait, I forgot to say. It's garbage! Okay, Whole Cake Island. This arc's purpose was to save Sanji, but Sanji loves animals. So how about we don't actually save him? Let Big Mom do whatever she wants with Sanji. Who cares? Oh no, we have to save him. Oh, okay, let's go save Sanji, I guess. I guess. So in this arc, we meet a Yonko's crew. The Yonko's crew is the villain for the first time, and they are pretty intimidating, okay? They are not weak. Big Mom is not weak. Big Mom, the moment she is introduced as a monster. This is a great arc, in my opinion. Luffy fights against a Yonko commander, almost loses. That's how it should be. Luffy should be strong enough to almost defeat a Yonko commander, not strong enough to defeat a Yonko, which happens literally in the next arc. Okay, in after Reverie in Wano, which literally happens. Luffy defeats Kaido easily after struggling against a Yonko commander because power levels make sense in One Piece. I liked all the goofy, unique, weird designs. Like most of these characters didn't even look human. I have no idea what Oda was thinking like, I feel like Oda was just like, too many characters. I don't want to put effort. Let's hope my editors will allow me to put them in. Okay, I'm gonna just draw this random shit and let's hope it goes well. We also met Sanji's father, Sanji's family, Germa Double Six, the most famous pirate group in North Blue. So famous that this was the first time they were ever mentioned, which again shows that Oda does not plan anything out ever. So what did I like about this arc? Well, Katakuri versus Luffy, it was a great fight. Loved it. Like it lasted a bit long, but it was worth it. Brook fighting against Big Mom. Brook literally being the MVP of this arc was nice to see because Brook is my favorite Straw Hat. The While I don't like the humanoid animal hybrids, the transformations they had during the moon were pretty nice. Like I'm not gonna lie, these characters look like 10 times better during these transformations. Kind of wish that these transformations were how they looked like regularly. Final arc, Reverie, another another great arc. I like the fact that so many characters returned, from Rebecca to Vivi, Sabo's brother, Rob Lutzi, Kakus, Stassi, Neptune, Shirahossi, even that asshole that got punched in the face by Luffy returned. And that guy hasn't changed at all, okay? Still the same asshole as he was way back before time skip. I just like these characters interacting with each other. This is what made the arc good for me. What I didn't like was the reveal of Im-sama, a character that was never mentioned, a character that came literally out of nowhere. Oh yeah, I'm actually in charge of the world government. Oh yeah, because Oda plans his stories out. That's why he creates characters like these at the last minute. Anyways, we're done. We're done. Yeah, yeah.
Was this chimps? Did I steal this? Can I have this? Too late now. Yum.